23 gay black celebs who constantly deny rumors. What if everything you thought you knew about celebrity identity wasn't the full truth? Behind the spotlight, behind the awards, and beyond the headlines, there are stories that rarely get told. Stories of silence, speculation, and carefully guarded realities. From icons who reshaped culture to stars who chose privacy over clarity, the line between truth and rumor is often thinner than we think. Some embraced who they are, others stayed quiet, and a few left us questioning everything. So here's the real question. Are we seeing authenticity or just what the industry allows us to see? Stay with Black Celebrity Secrets as we uncover the layers and decide for yourself what's real. Billy Porter. Billy Porter stands as one of the most influential figures redefining visibility, identity, and artistic excellence in modern entertainment. Born on September 21, 1969, Porter built his career through Broadway before breaking into mainstream television. But it was his role as Pray Tell in Pose that transformed him into a cultural force. In 2019, he made history as the first openly gay black man to win the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, an achievement that marked a turning point for LGBTQ+ representation on screen. His performance was not only critically acclaimed, but also emotionally resonant, reflecting real struggles faced by marginalized communities during the HIV/AIDS crisis. Beyond acting, Porter's impact extends into fashion and activism. His red carpet appearances, such as the tuxedo gown at the 2019 Oscars, challenged rigid gender norms and sparked global conversations about self-expression. While Porter has always been open about his sexuality, his journey wasn't without complexity. Earlier in his career, like many performers navigating a less inclusive industry, he faced pressure to conform and protect his opportunities. Rather than directly denying identity, his experience reflects a broader reality, the necessity many felt to carefully manage personal truth in a system that often punished authenticity. Porter has also been transparent about living with HIV, a diagnosis he kept private for years before publicly sharing it in 2021. That revelation added another layer to his advocacy, highlighting both stigma and resilience. Today, he uses his platform to speak on issues ranging from racial inequality to LGBTQ+ rights, blending artistry with activism. His work in music, theater, and film continues to expand his influence, but it is his unapologetic embrace of identity that defines his legacy. In an industry once resistant to difference, Billy Porter didn't just find space, he reshaped it entirely. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, born Montero Lamar Hill on April 9, 1999, represents a new era of artists who blur the boundaries between music, identity, and digital culture. His rise to fame in 2019 with Old Town Road was unprecedented. The song spent a record-breaking 19 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of the most successful singles in history. Yet beyond the charts, his decision to publicly come out as gay during Pride Month that same year marked a defining cultural moment, especially within hip-hop, a genre historically less accepting of LGBTQ+ artists. Unlike many celebrities who spent years navigating rumors before addressing them, Lil Nas X took a different approach. He controlled the narrative from the start. However, that didn't stop speculation. His playful, often ironic engagement with fans on social media, including jokes about being a little bisexual, demonstrates how he redefines the conversation around identity. Rather than issuing formal denials or confirmations in traditional ways, he uses humor, art, and provocation to challenge expectations. This strategy keeps audiences engaged while dismantling outdated norms about masculinity and sexuality. His visual projects, particularly the Montero, Call Me By Your Name music video sparked global debate, drawing both praise and controversy. The video amassed over 100 million views on YouTube within weeks, reinforcing his ability to dominate both cultural discourse and streaming platforms. Despite backlash, Lil Nas X remained unapologetic, positioning authenticity as his strongest asset. At just 27, his influence extends beyond music into fashion and social commentary. He regularly appears at major events like the Met Gala, pushing creative boundaries with bold, gender-fluid styling. While rumors and interpretations of his identity continue to circulate, Lil Nas X thrives in that ambiguity, not by denying speculation, but by transforming it into part of his artistic brand. In doing so, he has not only sustained relevance, but also reshaped how younger generations perceive fame, identity, and self-expression. Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, born Christopher Edwin Breaux on October 28, 1987, remains one of the most enigmatic and respected voices in contemporary music. Known for his introspective songwriting and genre-defying sound, Ocean rose to prominence with the release of Channel Orange in 2012, an album that debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and earned him a Grammy Award. But what truly set him apart was not just his artistry, it was his openness at a time when such vulnerability was rare. In a heartfelt letter shared before the album's release, Ocean revealed that his first love had been a man. This quiet yet powerful statement made him one of the first major black male artists in R&B to publicly address same-sex love. However, unlike many public figures who continually clarify or defend their personal lives, Ocean has largely stepped away from direct conversations about his identity. He neither engages in rumors nor actively labels himself, choosing instead to let his music communicate emotional truth. This approach has only deepened his mystique. His follow-up projects, Endless and Blonde, 2016, were critically acclaimed, with Blonde debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and later being ranked among the greatest albums of the decade by multiple publications. Despite limited public appearances and long gaps between releases, Ocean maintains a loyal global fan base, proving that artistic integrity can outweigh constant visibility. Speculation about his personal life persists, but Ocean's silence is intentional. Rather than deny or confirm narratives shaped by media or fans, he reclaims control through absence and subtlety. His rare interviews and public statements focus on creativity rather than identity politics, reinforcing a boundary between the artist and public curiosity. Frank Ocean's legacy lies not only in his music, but also in his refusal to conform to expectations, whether commercial or personal. In a culture obsessed with labels and instant answers, his restraint becomes a statement in itself, offering a different kind of authenticity rooted in privacy, depth, and emotional honesty. Lee Daniels. Lee Daniels, born December 24, 1959, is widely regarded as one of the most fearless storytellers in Hollywood, an auteur who consistently brings raw, emotionally charged narratives to the screen. Before stepping into directing, Daniels built a reputation as a casting director and producer, eventually gaining international recognition with Precious, 2009, a film that earned 6 Academy Award nominations, including Best Director and Best Picture. The film's unflinching portrayal of trauma, resilience, and systemic inequality set the tone for Daniels' career. Bold, unapologetic, and deeply human. While his professional achievements were widely celebrated, Daniels' personal life remained largely private during the early stages of his rise. In an industry where openness could still carry professional risks, especially for black creatives, he chose not to publicly define his sexuality for years, even as speculation circulated. It wasn't until 2015 that Daniels openly confirmed he is gay, doing so without fanfare, framing it as a natural extension of who he has always been. His decision reflected not a sudden revelation, but a shift in cultural climate, one that allowed greater visibility without the same level of career jeopardy. Daniel's work often mirrors his lived experience, weaving themes of identity, marginalization, and self-acceptance into projects like The Butler and the hit TV series Empire. The latter became a cultural phenomenon, drawing millions of viewers and spotlighting complex Black characters navigating power, family, and sexuality. Through his storytelling, Daniels has consistently amplified voices that were once sidelined, creating space for more inclusive narratives in mainstream media. Despite ongoing curiosity about his personal life, Daniels rarely engages in speculation or rumor cycles. Instead, he channels his energy into storytelling and mentorship, helping to elevate the next generation of diverse talent. His legacy is not defined by headlines, but by impact. Films that provoke thought, challenge norms, and resonate long after the credits roll. In a business often driven by image, Lee Daniels remains grounded in authenticity, proving that truth, when told boldly, can reshape an entire industry. Da Brat. Da Brat, born Shantae Harris on April 14, 1974, carved out a groundbreaking path in hip-hop long before conversations about identity became mainstream. She rose to fame in the 1990s with her debut album Functified, 1994, which went platinum, making her the first solo female rapper to achieve that milestone. Known for her confident delivery, sharp lyricism, and distinctive style, Da Brat quickly became a defining voice in a male-dominated genre. Throughout much of her career, however, her personal life remained deliberately guarded. At a time when the music industry, and hip-hop in particular, offered limited acceptance for LGBTQ+ artists, Da Brat often sidestepped questions about her relationships. Rumors circulated for years, but she neither confirmed nor directly addressed them, choosing instead to let her music and public persona take center stage. This approach wasn't unusual. It reflected the reality many artists faced when authenticity could come at the cost of opportunity. Everything shifted in 2020 when Da Brat publicly confirmed her relationship with entrepreneur Jessica "Judy" Dupart. In an emotional social media post, she expressed gratitude and love, marking a pivotal moment not only in her personal life, but also in her public identity. For many fans, this was more than a relationship reveal. It was a powerful statement about self-acceptance after decades in the spotlight. The couple later married in 2022, further solidifying their place as one of the most visible same-sex partnerships in hip-hop culture. Since then, Da Brat has embraced a more open chapter, sharing aspects of her life with a sense of pride and joy that resonates with longtime supporters and new audiences alike. Her journey highlights the evolution of both the artist and the industry, from a time of silence and speculation to one where authenticity is increasingly celebrated. Today, Da Brat's legacy extends beyond music. She represents resilience, growth, and the courage to live truthfully on one's own timeline. In doing so, she has not only shaped hip-hop history, but also contributed to a broader cultural shift toward acceptance and visibility. Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett, born June 21, 1982, is an actor and singer best known for his role as Jamal Lyon on the hit television series Empire. His performance on the show stood out not only for its musical depth, but also for its cultural significance. Jamal, an openly gay Black artist navigating fame, family tension, and identity, became one of the most visible LGBTQ+ characters on mainstream television. Smollett himself publicly identified as gay early in his career, aligning his real-life identity with the groundbreaking role he portrayed. However, his career trajectory took a dramatic turn in 2019, following a highly publicized incident in Chicago. Smollett reported being the victim of a racially and homophobically motivated attack, which initially sparked widespread support from the public and celebrities alike. Weeks later, the case shifted as investigators questioned the credibility of the report, leading to legal proceedings that placed Smollett under intense scrutiny. In 2021, he was found guilty on multiple counts related to filing a false police report, though he has continued to maintain his innocence. Despite the controversy, Smollett's earlier contributions to representation in entertainment remain notable. His role on Empire helped normalize LGBTQ+ narratives within a mainstream, predominantly Black audience, something rarely achieved at that scale before. Musically, he also contributed to the show's success, performing songs that charted and resonated with viewers. The situation surrounding the 2019 incident introduced a complex layer to his public image. While some discussions have shifted focus toward the legal and ethical implications, others continue to recognize the importance of separating personal controversy from broader cultural impact. Smollett himself has largely refrained from engaging extensively with ongoing speculation, choosing instead to address matters through legal channels and selective statements. Today, his story sits at the intersection of visibility, accountability, and media influence. It reflects both the power and the risk that come with public life in the digital age. Regardless of perspective, Jussie Smollett remains a figure whose journey has sparked conversation, not only about identity and representation, but also about truth, perception, and the consequences of global attention. Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe, born December 1st, 1985, is one of the most innovative and multi-dimensional artists of her generation, seamlessly blending music, film, and visual storytelling into a singular creative identity. Rising to prominence with her debut studio album, The Archandroid, 2010, Monáe established herself as a genre-defying musician, combining elements of funk, soul, R&B, and science fiction-inspired narratives. Her follow-up album, Dirty Computer, 2018, debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200 and earned a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year, solidifying her position as both a critical and commercial force. Beyond her musical achievements, Monáe's exploration of identity, particularly around gender and sexuality, has been a defining aspect of her public persona. Early in her career, she often avoided labeling herself, opting instead for ambiguity in interviews. As speculation grew, she maintained a level of privacy, neither confirming nor denying assumptions, which aligned with a broader theme in her work: the fluidity of identity and the rejection of rigid categories. In 2018, during the promotional cycle for Dirty Computer, Monáe publicly identified as pansexual, explaining that her understanding of herself had evolved over time. This moment was widely celebrated, especially given her influence and visibility as a Black artist in mainstream media. Her openness added depth to the album's themes, which already explored freedom, self-expression, and the breaking of societal constraints. Monáe's impact extends beyond music into film, with notable roles in critically acclaimed productions such as Hidden Figures and Moonlight, the latter winning the Academy Award for Best Picture. Her performances in these films further demonstrated her versatility and commitment to meaningful storytelling. Rather than engaging directly with rumors or speculation, Monáe has consistently used her art as a vehicle for expression. Her visuals, lyrics, and public appearances often challenge norms while inviting audiences to question their own perceptions of identity. In doing so, she has created a space where complexity is embraced rather than simplified. Janelle Monáe's journey reflects a modern approach to fame, one where authenticity evolves, labels are optional, and creativity leads the conversation. Raven-Symoné. Raven-Symoné, born December 10, 1985, has spent decades in the spotlight, evolving from a child star into a multifaceted entertainer with a lasting cultural footprint. She first gained national recognition on The Cosby Show before becoming a household name through Disney Channel's That's So Raven, a series that not only dominated ratings in the early 2000s, but also made her one of the most recognizable young Black actresses of her generation. With its mix of comedy and social themes, the show cemented her place in pop culture history. Despite her early fame, Raven-Symoné has always maintained a complicated relationship with public labels, especially regarding identity. For years, speculation about her sexuality circulated, yet she consistently avoided defining herself in conventional terms. In interviews, she often expressed discomfort with categorization, once stating she did not want to be labeled as African American or gay, but simply as an American. This stance reflected a broader personal philosophy rather than denial, emphasizing individuality over societal boxes. In 2013, following the legalization of same-sex marriage in parts of the United States, Raven-Symoné publicly acknowledged her support and confirmed her ability to marry her partner, marking a turning point in her public narrative. Later, she married Miranda Madej in 2020, further affirming her personal life without dramatically shifting her perspective on labels. Her journey highlights a nuanced approach, one that prioritizes self-definition over public expectation. Beyond personal identity, Raven-Symoné has continued to build a diverse career. She returned to the Disney franchise with Raven's Home, serving as both star and executive producer, demonstrating her transition into creative leadership. She has also worked as a television host and commentator, adding depth to her professional portfolio. Rather than engaging with rumors directly, Raven-Symoné has consistently redirected focus toward her work and her own evolving understanding of identity. Her story resonates because it reflects a modern reality. Not everyone chooses to define themselves in fixed terms. In an era driven by labels and instant clarity, her refusal to conform becomes its own powerful statement, one rooted in authenticity, independence, and personal growth. Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah, born Dana Elaine Owens on March 18, 1970, stands as one of the most versatile and enduring figures in entertainment. From her early days as a pioneering female rapper to her acclaimed acting career, she has consistently broken barriers across multiple industries. Her debut album, All Hail the Queen, 1989, introduced a commanding voice in hip-hop, with tracks like Unit Y later earning a Grammy Award and solidifying her role as a symbol of empowerment and respect for women. Transitioning into acting, Queen Latifah built an impressive filmography that includes standout performances in Chicago, which earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, as well as roles in Set It Off, The Equalizer, and numerous television projects. Her ability to move seamlessly between music, film, and television has made her one of the most respected figures in Hollywood. Throughout her career, however, Queen Latifah has maintained a notably private personal life. Speculation about her sexuality has followed her for years, yet she has consistently declined to publicly label herself or engage with rumors. Rather than issuing denials or confirmations, she has emphasized the importance of separating her professional achievements from her private relationships. This deliberate boundary has allowed her to control her narrative in an industry often driven by intrusion. Over time, her discretion has been interpreted in different ways, by fans, media, and commentators. But Queen Latifah has remained unwavering in her approach. She focuses on her work, philanthropy, and influence rather than addressing speculation directly. In recent years, she has made subtle acknowledgments of her personal life, including references to her partner during public speeches, without turning it into a defining headline. Her journey reflects a different model of visibility, one that does not rely on public declarations, but instead prioritizes autonomy and dignity. Queen Latifah's legacy is built on decades of excellence, from shaping hip-hop culture to redefining what longevity looks like in Hollywood. In a world that often demands transparency, her choice to remain selective about what she shares underscores a powerful message. Identity can be lived fully without needing constant public validation. Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott, born Melissa Arnett Elliott on July 1, 1971, is widely recognized as one of the most innovative and influential figures in music history. Emerging in the mid-1990s, She quickly distinguished herself not only as a rapper, but also as a producer and songwriter, collaborating with artists like Aaliyah, Beyoncé, and Whitney Houston. Her debut album, Supa Dupa Fly, 1997, redefined hip-hop's sonic landscape, while later hits such as Work It, Get Your Freak On, and Lose Control cemented her as a global superstar. With over 30 million records sold worldwide and 4 Grammy Awards, her impact is both commercial and cultural. What sets Missy Elliott apart is her fearless creativity. Her music videos, often directed alongside longtime collaborator Hype Williams, became visual landmarks, blending futuristic aesthetics, bold fashion, and surreal imagery that pushed boundaries rarely explored in mainstream hip-hop. At a time when female artists were often confined to narrow roles, Missy carved out her own lane, emphasizing originality over conformity. Despite her high-profile career, Missy Elliott has always maintained a deeply private personal life. Over the years, speculation about her sexuality has circulated, fueled in part by her decision not to publicly discuss relationships. However, unlike many celebrities who respond directly to rumors, Missy has consistently chosen silence, neither confirming nor denying. This deliberate approach reflects her long-standing philosophy: let the work speak louder than personal narratives. Her decision to remain private did not hinder her influence. In 2019, she became the first female rapper inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, followed by her inclusion in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023, milestones that highlight her enduring legacy. Beyond accolades, Missy has inspired generations of artists who admire her authenticity, innovation, and refusal to be boxed in. In a culture driven by constant exposure, Missy Elliott's restraint feels intentional and powerful. She proves that an artist can dominate the industry, shape its future, and remain an enigma at the same time. Her story is not about denying rumors, it's about transcending them entirely. Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross, born April 20th, 1951, was one of the most celebrated voices in R&B history, known for his rich, velvety tone and unmatched ability to convey emotion through song. Rising to prominence in the early 1980s with his debut album Never Too Much, 1981, Vandross built a career defined by timeless ballads and impeccable vocal control. Songs like Here and Now, Dance with My Father, and If Only for One Night became staples of soul music, earning him 8 Grammy Awards and selling over 40 million records worldwide. Beyond his vocal talent, Vandross was also a gifted arranger and producer, contributing to the refinement of modern R&B. His meticulous attention to detail in studio recordings set a high standard, influencing countless artists who followed. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he remained a dominant force on the charts, consistently delivering albums that resonated with audiences across generations. Despite his immense public success, Vandross maintained a notably private personal life. Questions about his relationships and sexuality surfaced frequently, particularly as his popularity grew, but he chose not to address them publicly. Unlike many entertainers who respond to speculation, Vandross drew a clear line between his public artistry and his private world. This silence was not uncommon during his era, when societal pressures and industry expectations often discouraged open discussion of such topics. After suffering a stroke in 2003, Vandross stepped away from the spotlight, and he passed away on July 1, 2005, at the age of 54. Following his death, discussions about his personal life resurfaced, with some accounts suggesting aspects of his identity that he had chosen to keep private. However, without direct public confirmation from Vandross himself, these remain part of a broader narrative shaped by interpretation rather than explicit declaration. Luther Vandross's legacy endures not because of speculation, but because of his extraordinary artistry. His music continues to define moments of love, loss, and reflection for millions. In choosing privacy over public clarification, he left behind a body of work that speaks far louder than any rumor ever could. Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo, born November 28, 1969, has steadily risen to become one of the most respected and versatile actors of his generation, known for his commanding presence across stage, television, and film. With a career spanning over 3 decades, Domingo first built his foundation in theater, earning acclaim for his work as a playwright and performer before transitioning into on-screen roles. His breakthrough came through projects like Fear the Walking Dead and Euphoria, where his portrayal of Ali, a recovering addict and mentor, earned him an Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series in 2022. Unlike many public figures whose personal lives become headline material early on, Domingo maintained a relatively low profile regarding his identity in the early years of his career. While he never explicitly denied who he was, he also did not center public discussions around his sexuality, reflecting a common reality for actors navigating an industry that historically offered limited space for openness, especially for Black performers. Over time, as cultural attitudes shifted, Domingo became more visible about his life, including his long-term relationship and marriage to his husband, Raul Domingo. What distinguishes Domingo is the way he integrates authenticity into his work rather than relying on public declarations. His performances often explore deeply human themes: addiction, redemption, vulnerability, allowing audiences to connect with characters beyond surface-level identity. This artistic focus has positioned him as a storyteller who brings nuance and empathy to every role. In recent years, Domingo's career has reached new heights, with critically acclaimed performances in films such as Rustin, 2023, where he portrayed civil rights leader Bayard Rustin. The role earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, further solidifying his place among Hollywood's elite. Off-screen, he has become an advocate for representation and inclusion, using his platform to support diverse voices in the arts. Colman Domingo's journey reflects a quiet but powerful evolution, from privacy shaped by circumstance to visibility defined on his own terms. Rather than engaging with speculation, he has allowed his work and lived experience to speak for themselves, creating a legacy grounded in talent, integrity, and purpose. Don Lemon. Don Lemon, born March 1, 1966, is a prominent American television journalist whose career has been marked by both professional achievement and personal candor. Rising through the ranks of broadcast news, Lemon became widely known as a leading anchor on CNN, where he hosted CNN Tonight for nearly a decade. His coverage of major events, including presidential elections, social justice movements, and breaking national news, established him as one of the most recognizable faces in cable news. For much of his early career, Lemon navigated the complexities of identity within a high-profile media environment. While rumors about his personal life occasionally surfaced, he chose not to address them publicly at first, focusing instead on building credibility and authority as a journalist. In 2011, he made a pivotal decision to come out as gay in his memoir Transparent. The announcement was significant, not only for Lemon personally, but also within the broader landscape of broadcast journalism, where few Black male anchors had publicly shared such aspects of their identity. Lemon later reflected that fear of professional repercussions had influenced his earlier silence, highlighting the pressures many individuals face in industries where visibility can impact opportunity. His openness, however, did not overshadow his work. Rather, it added depth to his public voice, particularly when covering issues related to race, equality, and LGBTQ+ rights. Beyond his professional achievements, Lemon's personal life has become more visible in recent years, including his engagement and marriage to real estate agent Tim Malone. Unlike earlier stages of his career, he now speaks more freely about his experiences, using his platform to advocate for honesty and acceptance. Throughout his journey, Don Lemon has demonstrated that identity and professionalism are not mutually exclusive. By choosing when and how to share his truth, he has maintained control over his narrative while continuing to deliver impactful journalism. His story reflects a broader cultural shift, one where authenticity is increasingly seen as a strength rather than a liability, and where public figures can navigate both career success and personal truth on their own terms. Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator, born Tyler Gregory Okonma on March 6, 1991, has built a career defined by reinvention, controversy, and artistic evolution. Emerging in the late 2000s as the leader of the alternative hip-hop collective Odd Future, Tyler initially gained attention for his raw, rebellious style and provocative lyrics. Early projects like Goblin, 2011, established him as a polarizing figure, often criticized for shock value content. However, as his artistry matured, so did the themes within his music, shifting toward introspection, vulnerability, and layered storytelling. Albums such as Flower Boy, 2017, Igor, 2019, and Call Me If You Get Lost, 2021, marked a turning point in both critical reception and public perception. Igor debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album, signaling his arrival as a fully realized creative force. Within these later works, Tyler introduced narratives that hinted at same-sex attraction, sparking widespread discussion about his sexuality. Yet, rather than offering direct confirmation, he has consistently approached the topic with ambiguity, sometimes playful, sometimes serious, often blurring the line between persona and reality. This ambiguity is central to Tyler's identity as an artist. In interviews and lyrics, he has alternated between dismissing speculation and leaning into it through coded storytelling. Instead of issuing clear statements, he allows his audience to interpret his work freely, reinforcing his resistance to labels and expectations. This approach has kept him at the center of cultural conversation without tying him to a fixed narrative. Beyond music, Tyler has expanded into fashion with his brand Golf Wang and curated the annual Camp Flog Gnaw Carnival, further solidifying his influence across creative industries. His aesthetic, colorful, unconventional, and unapologetically individual, mirrors the themes present in his music. Tyler, the Creator's journey reflects a modern shift in how identity is expressed in entertainment. By refusing to define himself on others' terms, he transforms speculation into artistic fuel. In doing so, he challenges traditional expectations, proving that self-expression doesn't always require clear answers. Sometimes the mystery is the message. Young M.A. Young M.A., born Katora Marrero on April 3, 1992, emerged as a distinctive voice in hip-hop with a style that blends street authenticity, lyrical confidence, and unapologetic individuality. Raised in Brooklyn, New York, she developed a passion for music at an early age, eventually breaking into the mainstream with her 2016 breakout single, Ooh Woo. The track became a viral success, peaking within the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100 and earning multi-platinum certification, instantly establishing her as a rising force in the rap scene. What set Young M.A. apart from the beginning was her refusal to conform to industry norms, both musically and personally. In a genre where image often plays a defining role, she carved out her own identity, presenting herself in a way that felt authentic rather than market-driven. While she is widely recognized as openly lesbian today, her early career involved navigating public perception carefully. She did not initially center conversations around her sexuality, instead choosing to focus on her craft and let her music define her. As her popularity grew, so did curiosity about her personal life. Rather than directly addressing every question or rumor, Young M.A. maintained a consistent stance. Her identity was hers to express on her own terms. Over time, she became more open, speaking candidly in interviews and through her lyrics, but always with a sense of control over how her story was told. This gradual openness resonated with fans who saw her as a symbol of authenticity in an industry that often pressures artists to fit specific molds. Beyond music, young M.A. has expanded into entrepreneurship and independent artistry, launching her own label and maintaining creative ownership over her work. This independence allows her to operate without compromise, reinforcing her reputation as both an artist and a businesswoman. Young M.A.'s journey highlights the balance between privacy and visibility. She represents a generation of artists who are redefining what it means to be open, not through constant explanation, but through consistent authenticity. In doing so, she continues to inspire audiences while staying firmly rooted in her truth. Big Freedia. Big Freedia, born Freddie Ross Jr. on January 28, 1978, is widely recognized as the Queen of Bounce, a title that reflects both musical dominance and cultural influence. Hailing from New Orleans, Freedia played a pivotal role in bringing bounce music, a high-energy subgenre of hip-hop rooted in the city's club scene, into the global spotlight. Tracks like Explode, As Everywhere, and collaborations with major artists such as Beyoncé on Formation helped introduce the sound to a broader audience, turning a regional movement into an international phenomenon. What makes Big Freedia particularly unique is the fluidity with which identity is expressed. Freedia uses he/him pronouns in everyday life, but also embraces feminine presentation on stage, often blurring traditional gender lines. Early in Freedia's career, this duality led to confusion, speculation, and frequent mislabeling by media and audiences unfamiliar with bounce culture. Rather than issuing rigid definitions or correcting every assumption, Freedia chose a more organic path, letting personality, performance, and community roots define identity over time. Reality television further expanded Freedia's reach, with Big Freedia, Queen of Bounce, airing for 6 seasons and offering viewers a closer look at both personal and professional life. The show highlighted not only the challenges of maintaining a music career, but also the importance of staying true to oneself in an industry that often demands conformity. Through it all, Freedia remained grounded in authenticity, rarely engaging directly with rumors or speculation. Beyond music, Big Freedia has become a cultural ambassador for New Orleans, preserving and promoting the city's artistic traditions while advocating for LGBTQ+ visibility. Freedia's influence extends into fashion, television, and activism, creating a legacy that goes far beyond the stage. In a world eager to categorize, Big Freedia represents something more fluid and expansive. By refusing to be confined to a single label, Freedia transforms curiosity into celebration, proving that identity can be both deeply personal and universally inspiring. It's this balance of confidence and openness that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Azealia Banks. Azealia Banks, born May 31st, 1991, is one of the most complex and polarizing figures in modern music, an artist whose talent is often as discussed as her controversies. She first gained widespread attention with her 2011 viral hit, 212, a track that showcased her rapid-fire delivery, sharp lyricism, and ability to seamlessly blend house, hip-hop, and electronic influences. The song's success positioned her as a bold new voice, and her debut album, Broke with Expensive Taste, 2014, later reinforced her reputation as a genre-defying performer. From the beginning, Banks has been outspoken, using social media and interviews to express unfiltered opinions on everything from industry politics to cultural identity. This candidness has extended to discussions about her own sexuality. She has publicly identified as bisexual, but her statements over time have often been contradictory, sometimes embracing the label and at other times pushing back against how it is perceived or discussed. This inconsistency has fueled ongoing speculation and debate, making her personal identity a frequent topic of conversation. Rather than maintaining a fixed narrative, Banks approaches identity in a way that mirrors her artistic style: fluid, confrontational, and resistant to simplification. She has criticized how society labels individuals, particularly within marginalized communities, arguing that such labels can be limiting rather than empowering. As a result, she does not consistently engage with rumors or assumptions, often redirecting attention back to her music or broader cultural commentary. Despite the controversies that have occasionally overshadowed her career, Banks' influence on music remains significant. Her ability to fuse genres and deliver technically complex performances has inspired a generation of artists who operate outside traditional boundaries. Tracks like Luxury, Anna Wintour, and Chasing Time demonstrate her versatility and creative ambition. Azealia Banks's story is one of contradiction and control, an artist navigating public perception while refusing to be fully defined by it. In doing so, she challenges audiences to separate art from narrative, leaving behind a legacy that is as provocative as it is impactful. Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith, born July 8, 1998, has grown from a child actor into one of the most unconventional voices of his generation, an artist who challenges norms across music, fashion, and identity. The son of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, Jaden first captured public attention in The Pursuit of Happiness, 2006, acting alongside his father before starring in The Karate Kid, 2010, which grossed over $350 million worldwide. Yet, as he matured, his focus shifted away from traditional Hollywood paths toward a more experimental and self-defined creative journey. In music, Jaden has carved out a distinct style, blending alternative hip-hop, electronic sounds, and introspective themes. Albums like Sire, 2017, and Eris, 2019, reflect his willingness to explore identity, emotion, and perception in ways that often blur the line between reality and persona. His lyrics and public statements have frequently sparked discussion, particularly regarding his sexuality. Over the years, Jaden has made ambiguous comments, most notably referencing fellow artist Tyler, the Creator, in ways that left fans questioning whether he was joking, expressing admiration, or revealing something more personal. Rather than providing clear answers, Jaden leans into ambiguity. He has described himself as someone who doesn't feel confined by traditional labels, suggesting a fluid approach to identity that aligns with his broader philosophy of self-expression. This openness, paired with a refusal to clarify every statement, keeps speculation alive while reinforcing his individuality. Instead of denying rumors outright, he reframes them as part of a larger conversation about freedom and authenticity. Beyond music, Jaden has become a fashion icon, known for wearing skirts, gender-neutral clothing, and bold, unconventional designs. His partnership with Louis Vuitton and his own brand, MSFTS Rep, reflect a commitment to redefining masculinity and style. He is also deeply involved in environmental and humanitarian efforts, including initiatives to provide clean water through his Just Water company. Jaden Smith's journey is less about fitting into predefined categories and more about dismantling them entirely. In a culture that often demands clarity, he offers something different, an evolving identity shaped by creativity, curiosity, and the courage to exist without limits. Willow Smith. Willow Smith, born October 31st, 2000, has steadily transformed from a viral pop sensation into a deeply introspective artist who uses music as a platform for emotional exploration and self-discovery. She first gained global attention at just 10 years old with Whip My Hair, 2010, a track that reached the Billboard Hot 100 and introduced her as a bold, confident young performer. However, rather than following a conventional pop trajectory, Willow chose a more experimental path, gradually reshaping her sound and image into something far more personal and nuanced. Her later projects, including the first, Willow, and Lately I Feel Everything, showcase a fusion of alternative rock, R&B, and punk influences. These works reveal a depth that contrasts sharply with her early image, highlighting themes of anxiety, identity, and emotional growth. Critics have praised her evolution, noting her ability to craft music that resonates with a generation navigating similar internal struggles. Discussions about Willow's personal identity have also been part of her public narrative. Over time, she has spoken openly about her experiences, identifying as bisexual, and expressing interest in polyamorous relationships during conversations on Red Table Talk. However, in earlier stages of her career, she approached these topics with more subtlety, allowing speculation to exist without immediate clarification. This gradual openness reflects a thoughtful process rather than a sudden declaration. Willow's perspective on identity is rooted in exploration rather than definition. She often emphasizes the importance of understanding oneself over time, rejecting the pressure to conform to rigid labels. This mindset extends into her artistry, where she blends genres and ideas freely, refusing to be confined by expectations, whether musical or personal. In addition to music, Willow has established herself as a voice for younger audiences, discussing mental health, spirituality, and self-acceptance with a level of honesty that resonates widely. Her willingness to share her journey, while still maintaining boundaries, creates a balance between openness and privacy. Willow Smith represents a new kind of artist, one who evolves in public but remains grounded in introspection. Her story is not about fitting into a category, but about embracing change, questioning norms, and finding strength in authenticity. Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer, born Lauren Kiana Palmer on August 26, 1993, has built a dynamic career that spans acting, music, and television, establishing herself as one of the most versatile entertainers of her generation. She first gained recognition as a child actress in Akeelah and the Bee, 2006, a critically acclaimed film that showcased her emotional depth and natural charisma. From there, she expanded into television with Nickelodeon's True Jackson V.P., becoming one of the youngest Black actresses to headline a major network series. As her career evolved, Palmer continued to diversify her portfolio. She starred in projects like Hustlers, 2019, alongside Jennifer Lopez and Constance Wu, and later delivered a standout performance in Jordan Peele's Nope, 2022, further cementing her reputation as a serious actress. Beyond film, she has hosted talk shows, voiced animated characters, and built a strong presence in digital media, where her candid personality resonates with millions. When it comes to her personal life, Keke Palmer has navigated public curiosity with a balance of openness and control. Over the years, she has addressed questions about sexuality in a nuanced way, occasionally acknowledging attraction without placing herself into a fixed label. In interviews and online conversations, she has emphasized that identity can be fluid and personal, choosing not to define herself strictly despite ongoing speculation. This approach reflects a broader generational shift, where individuals resist rigid categorization and prioritize self-understanding over external expectations. Rather than directly denying or confirming every rumor, Palmer redirects attention toward her work and personal growth. She has been vocal about self-empowerment, mental health, and independence, topics that resonate strongly with her audience. Her willingness to speak honestly while still maintaining boundaries allows her to remain relatable without sacrificing privacy. Keke Palmer's journey is a testament to adaptability and authenticity. She thrives in an industry that constantly evolves, not by conforming to expectations, but by shaping her own narrative. In doing so, she represents a modern model of celebrity, one that values complexity, individuality, and the freedom to define identity on one's own terms. Jordan Dunn. Jordan Dunn, born August 3, 1990, is one of the most influential British models of her generation, known for breaking barriers in an industry that has historically struggled with diversity. Discovered at just 15 years old in London, Dunn quickly rose through the ranks of high fashion, becoming a regular on international runways for brands like Prada, Chanel, and Burberry. In 2008, she made history as the first black model to walk for Prada in over a decade, a milestone that highlighted both her talent and the lack of representation in the fashion world at the time. Dunn's impact extends beyond the runway. She has appeared on the covers of major publications such as Vogue, Elle, and Harper's Bazaar, while also becoming a prominent figure in campaigns for luxury brands. Her success helped pave the way for a more inclusive generation of models, challenging outdated industry standards and advocating for greater diversity. While her professional life has been widely documented, Dunn has maintained a relatively private approach to her personal identity. Like many public figures, she has faced occasional speculation about her relationships and sexuality, but she has rarely engaged with such discussions directly. Instead of addressing rumors head-on, Dunn has chosen to focus on her career, motherhood, and personal development, allowing her actions to define her public image rather than commentary or gossip. Outside of modeling, she has used her platform to speak on issues such as racial inequality and representation in fashion. She has also been open about her experiences as a young mother, balancing a demanding career with raising her son, an aspect of her life that has earned admiration from fans and peers alike. Jordan Dunn's journey reflects strength, resilience, and quiet influence. In an industry often driven by image and perception, she has maintained control over her narrative by prioritizing authenticity and professionalism. Rather than being defined by speculation, she stands as a symbol of progress, proving that success and self-respect can coexist without the need for constant public explanation. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor, born December 1, 1940 in Peoria, Illinois, remains one of the most groundbreaking comedians in history, an artist who transformed stand-up comedy into a deeply personal, often uncomfortable exploration of truth. Rising to prominence in the 1970s, Pryor redefined the genre by blending humor with raw storytelling about race, addiction, trauma, and human contradiction. Albums like That Nigger's Crazy, 1974, and Is It Something I Said, 1975, earned Grammy Awards and cemented his influence, while films such as Silver Streak and Stir Crazy brought his charisma to mainstream audiences. What set Pryor apart was his willingness to expose every layer of his life on stage. His comedy was fearless, often blurring the line between performance and confession. Yet, despite this openness, certain aspects of his personal life remained less publicly defined during his lifetime. Questions about his sexuality surfaced over the years, but Pryor never directly addressed them in a clear or sustained way, leaving room for interpretation within both his material and public image. Decades later, after his passing in 2005 at the age of 65, new perspectives emerged. In 2018, music producer Quincy Jones stated in an interview that Pryor had been involved in a relationship with actor Marlon Brando, a claim later confirmed by Pryor's widow, Jennifer Lee. According to her, Pryor had been open about his experiences with close confidants and had documented aspects of his personal life in private writings. These revelations added complexity to his already multifaceted legacy, though they remain part of a narrative shaped after his death rather than by his own public declarations. Pryor's story reflects the reality of his era, when societal pressures made it difficult for many public figures to openly discuss identity beyond accepted norms. Rather than framing his life through speculation, it is more accurate to see his work as an ongoing dialogue about human vulnerability in all its forms. Today, Richard Pryor's legacy endures through generations of comedians who cite him as a primary influence. His honesty, courage, and ability to confront uncomfortable truths continue to resonate, proving that authenticity, whether spoken directly or implied, can leave an impact that transcends time. Kali Uchis. Kali Uchis, born Carly Marina Loaiza on July 17, 1994, has emerged as one of the most distinctive voices in contemporary music, blending R&B, Latin pop, soul, and alternative influences into a sound that feels both nostalgic and modern. Born in Alexandria, Virginia, to Colombian parents, she spent her formative years moving between the United States and Colombia, an experience that deeply shaped her artistic identity. This bicultural background is evident in her music, where English and Spanish seamlessly coexist, creating a global appeal that resonates across audiences. Uchis first gained attention with her mixtape Drunken Babble, 2012. But it was her debut studio album Isolation, 2018, that established her as a major force. The album received widespread critical acclaim and featured collaborations with artists like Tyler, The Creator, Georgia Smith, and Steve Lacy. Her follow-up project, Sin Miedo, Del Amor y Otros Demonios, 2020, included the hit single Telepatia, which became a viral success on TikTok and peaked on the Billboard Hot 100, further expanding her reach. While Kali Uchis has been open about her creativity and influences, she has maintained a relatively measured approach when it comes to her personal life. Discussions around her sexuality have surfaced at times, particularly due to her artistic themes and aesthetic, which often explore intimacy, desire, and emotional fluidity. However, she has not consistently framed her identity within specific labels, choosing instead to focus on artistic expression rather than public categorization. This approach aligns with a broader trend among modern artists who resist being defined by rigid labels. Rather than directly addressing rumors or speculation, Uchis channels those themes into her music, allowing listeners to interpret meaning through lyrics and visuals. Songs often explore love and connection in ways that feel universal rather than confined to a single perspective. Beyond music, Uchis has cultivated a strong visual identity, drawing inspiration from vintage aesthetics, cinema, and fashion. Her ability to merge sound with imagery has made her one of the most visually compelling artists of her era. Kali Uchis represents a new generation of performers who prioritize creative freedom over definition. By maintaining control over her narrative, she continues to evolve on her own terms, letting her artistry, rather than speculation, define her place in the industry. Now that you've seen the stories behind these celebrities, the conversation doesn't end here. It starts with you. Were these stars truly denying rumors, or were they simply protecting their privacy in a world that demands constant exposure? Is silence a form of denial, or a form of power? In today's culture where everything is expected to be labeled and explained, maybe the real mystery is why we feel entitled to those answers. Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who surprised you the most, and who do you think the media got wrong? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Black Celebrity Secrets for more untold stories that challenge what you think you know.